sky above Nevada was quiet that night. It's quiet, no planes, no clouds, no sound. Then, without warning, a bright circle of blue light appeared above the desert. It didn't flash. It didn't flicker. It simply was, silent, smooth, and strange. On the ground, a man stood still. Looking up, his name was Cade Walker. Cade wasn't special at least that's what everyone thought. He lived alone in a cabin near the cliffs, worked as a mechanic, and rarely spoke more than 5 words a day. The locals called him Ghost Walker because he came and went without a trace. He had no family, no online presence, no history anyone could find. But that night, everything changed. The light grew brighter. A low hum filled the air. The ground trembled gently beneath Cade's boots. He didn't run. He didn't scream. He simply stood there, staring at the light, like he was waiting for it. Then it happened. A beam of shimmering blue energy shot down from the sky. It wrapped around Cade in a perfect column of light. His body lifted off the ground, slow and smooth. As if gravity had stopped caring, he rose 20 feet, then 50. Then he was pulled into the belly of the ship, without a sound. The desert returned to silence, cold, metallic, bright. Cade opened his eyes slowly. He lay on a smooth black table in a room filled with lights and machines. Tall figures moved. Around him, gray-skinned, thin-limbed, with large black eyes. They spoke in clicking sounds, their voices soft but fast. Aliens. They didn't hurt him, not yet. They scanned him, took samples. Blood, hair, skin. One of them tried to open his eyes. Mouth, but Cade clenched his jaw tight. He didn't say a word. One alien tapped a glowing panel. A strange blue liquid filled a tube and connected to a needle. It moved toward Cade's arm butt before it could touch him. Something strange happened. The machine shut down. Lights flickered. Alarms blared. One by one, the screens around them turned red. The lead alien let out a sharp cry. The others stepped back from Cade. He was still lying down, still not moving, and still somehow in control. In the control center of the ship, the onboard AI woke up. It spoke in the language of the alien crew, a voice made of static and light. Warning, subject for 1H contains forbidden DNA strands. Immediate quarantine recommended. Do not engage. Do not provoke. Do not awaken. The captain of the ship, a tall, armored alien named Zeltor, narrowed his eyes. He's just a human, he said. The AI responded immediately. Incorrect. Subject for 1H is a genetic throwback. He carries ancestral code linked to Classy Omega protocols. Potential threat level? Extinction. Zeltor didn't believe in myths. He believed in science. He waved a clawed hand and told the crew to continue testing. That was his second mistake. The first, taking Cade in the first place, back in the lab. The aliens tried again. This time they brought 6 guards, all of them armed with stun weapons. They surrounded the table and raised a shield field to prevent Cade from moving. But Cade didn't move. He lay there, eyes closed, breathing slow. The scientists ran more tests, scans, chemical readings, BRA, NWAVES, each time. The results made less sense. Cade's brain was too active. It showed readings like he was dreaming. But he wasn't asleep. His body temperature kept rising. But he didn't sweat. And worst of all, the ship itself began to fail. Doors opened and closed by themselves. Lights flickered. Gravity flicked. On and off for seconds at a time. One alien technician suddenly screamed and collapsed, shaking on the ground. He spoke in broken words, describing visions of Earth cities in flames, skies torn open, and a single man walking through it all untouched. Cade opened his eyes. He smiled. It was not a kind smile. Captain Zeltor entered the lab with 4 elite guards behind him. He was angry now. The ship was breaking down, his crew was panicking, and he was tired of this human. He walked right up to Cade. "Who are you?" he growled. Cade slowly sat up on the table. No shield stopped him. No force fields flared. "Just moved. I'm no one," Cade said calmly. His voice was low, quiet, but carried power. Zeltor raised his weapon. "Answer me." Cade tilted his head. You already know the answer. That's why you're afraid. Zeltor fired. A bolt of blue energy hit Cade square in the chest and vanished. No burn, no impact. Nothing. The guards stared in shock. Cade stood up. The ship began to shake. A hidden system deep in the ship's core activated on its own. An ancient file played on a secret screen. A recording. It's faded and old. It showed a human world, thousands of years ago. But this Earth had massive cities in orbit, ships larger than moons. And in the center stood men and women like gods with powers that made galaxies bend. One voice in the recording said, "We told them not to return. We warned them. If they ever find one of us again, it's already too late." The crew of the alien ship watched in horror. They hadn't captured a man. They had wakened a legend. Cade walked through the halls of the alien ship like he belonged there. Doors opened before him. Without touch, guards tried to stop him, but their weapons failed, their hands shook, their minds whispered strange thoughts they didn't understand. He wasn't killing them. He didn't need to. They were breaking themselves. One alien fell to his knees, sobbing. "He sees me. He knows my name. And I've never seen him before." Cade kept walking. Behind him, screens glit, systems shut down, and deep in the ships. Mainframe, a message played in loop. "Do not touch, do not test, do not wake." A secret satellite orbiting. Mars blinked to life for the first time in 3,000 years. It scanned space. It picked up Cade's energy signature, and it sent one message. Encrypted, hidden deep in Earth's old command system. Subject Alpha located. Protocol Defender initiated. The alien research lab was quiet, too quiet. Lights flickered. Consoles flashed strange red symbols. The air felt heavier, as if the ship itself was holding its breath. The guards in the hallway didn't speak. They stood in place, eyes forward, weapons ready, but their hands trembled. Everyone could feel it now. Something was wrong with the human, not just different. Wrong. He hadn't attacked anyone, but systems were failing. Crew members were collapsing in Cade. He had disappeared from the medical bay. Technician Rock, a small, thin alien with silver skin and 6 fingers, moved quickly through the lab's central systems. He was sweating, even though his kind didn't usually sweat. He typed command after command. Nothing worked. All doors leading to the main hangar are locked. Internal sensors show no one, not even the crew. AI voice recognition, offline. He turned to his partner. "This is impossible. We're on a Class 5 flagship. Nothing should get through our systems." Nothing. But then the lights went out. For 3 full seconds, there was total darkness. When they came back on, the human was in the room. Cade stood at the far end of the lab, completely calm. He didn't run. He didn't shout. He didn't even blink. His clothes were still Earth-made. His boots, jeans, and a dark green jacket. But something about him looked different now, stronger, older. Older, RALK screamed and tried to sound the alarm. But when he touched the panel, his arm froze mid-motion. His brain screamed at him to move, but his body refused. Cade raised a hand, not to attack, but to point. "Stop fighting it," he said softly. "You're not my enemy. Not yet." Then he walked past them both and entered the core of the lab. The lab core was a sacred place. It held all their knowledge, data, DNA samples, energy weapons, and forbidden tech from across the galaxy. Only senior scientists were allowed to access it. Now, a human was walking through it like it was his own house. Machines shut down as he passed. Bioscanners cracked. Holograms glitched into static. A small drone floated toward Cade. It scanned his body. The results made no sense. DNA match, error, class unknown, threat level. Then the drone exploded on its own. Captain Zeltier slammed his fist on the command table. "He's inside the lab core." "How?" one officer answered quickly. "Sir, we don't know. He just appeared. No cameras saw him enter. No doors were opened." "Then destroy it," the captain ordered. "Vent the lab. Cut off power. I want that human gone." Another Officer hesitated. Sir, if we vent the core, we lose centuries of research. Dozens of alien species. Tech we haven't even studied yet. Do it anyway. But before they could act, every screen on the bridge blinked red. Then a voice echoed through the ship. It was Cade's voice. You should have left Earth alone. In the span of 10 seconds, the power grid dropped by 70%. Life support systems cycled into chaos. Artificial gravity fluctuated. The ship's AI rebooted itself and refused commands. One by one, crew members started collapsing. Not from injury, but from fear. They clutched their heads, whispered strange words. Some claimed to see stars bleeding. Others said they heard singing from deep space. One screamed, "He's in my mind. I can't shut him out." The captain watched in horror. Cade wasn't killing them. He was breaking their minds one thought at a time. Back in the lab, Cade touched a strange crystal-like structure. It pulsed with blue light. Alien writing floated above it. It was a memory. Core storing data from thousands of species. Cade closed his eyes and placed both hands on it. The moment he touched it, everything changed. His mind opened, flooded with images. Ancient battles among stars, giant machines, harvesting suns, human warriors dressed in armor made of light, alien fleets burning Earth's cities centuries ago, and finally, a warning left by ancient humans: they fear us for a reason. They ever try again, one of us will awaken. One will remember it. And when he does, ... it ends. Cade gasped. His memories weren't his own. They were planted hidden. Till now, he wasn't just a human. He was a key. Captain Zaltor didn't wait any longer. He stormed into the lab with 2 plasma rifles and 10 elite guards. All wore mental shields. All were trained in psychic defense. Contain him. He shouted. The guards raised weapons. Cade didn't flinch. He simply whispered, "You already lost."
8.
Suddenly, the gravity in the room reversed. The guards were pulled to the ceiling, screaming. The rifles melted in their hands. Lights exploded above them. X.A. Elter floated in the air, eyes wide with terror. "You're not supposed to exist," he whispered. Cade stared at him. "Neither is your fear, yet here it is." As chaos filled the ship, another signal silently left the lab core. It moved through dark channels in deep space. It passed ancient satellites. It reached a hidden moon station in a dead system, and it activated a forgotten satellite deep under Earth's oceans. A single message blinked on screen. Defender protocol. Activated. Earth had been waiting, and now it knew one of them was back. Alarms screamed across the ship. Red lights spun. In every hallway, emergency protocols activated one by one. Shields, lockdowns, auto-pilots. None of them worked. The ship's central AI, once smooth and perfect, now stuttered like a dying machine. Warning. Warning. Subject for 1H. System threat. Unknown. Class DNA error. And in the middle of it all stood Cade. Still calm, still quiet. But something inside him had changed. He could feel it now. A low vibration in his bones. A humming behind his thoughts. Something was waking up. He stood in a chamber filled with glowing DNA strand, animal, machine, even ancient human samples. This was the research vault, where the crew studied life forms across galaxies. He looked at the glowing strands. Most of them looked clean, smooth, organized. But his strand looked different. It pulsed with light. It wasn't just DNA, was coded memory. Inside each twist of his genes was information, not biology. It's not instinct, but something else. Weapon protocols. He touched the screen, and it came to life. A voice echoed in the room. Not his voice, but one buried in his cells, ancient, calm, and clear. To the one who awakens, you are not a mutation. You're not an accident. You are a lock-end, a weapon. If you are hearing this, it means the stars have forgotten their fear. Remind them. Cade's eyes widened. It all made sense now. He wasn't born with this. He was built by the old humans, created not just to survive, but to act as a final defense, a hidden weapon, one that would activate if Earth was ever attacked again, and now it had. Captain Zelter stared at the screens in disbelief. He had captured hundreds of species in his life. He'd dissected monsters, broken warriors, and turned whole civilizations into data. But this was new. The human wasn't attacking them with weapons. He was shutting them down with his presence. "Sir," a young officer said, eyes wide, "the ship's AI no longer responds. Our weapons are locked out. Security doors open and close at random." It's like he's thinking through the ship. The captain slammed his fist on the console. "We brought him here. We broke protocol. Now we've awakened something worse than extinction." Another officer whispered, "Maybe we should let him go." The captain turned slowly. "No. If we let him go, he tells the others." He looked back at the screen. Cade was staring straight into the camera and smiling. Cade walked through the DNA vault. As he passed, each sample that had once belonged to other species began to shake. Some shattered in their containers. Others dissolved into mist. The alien tech wasn't breaking. It was rejecting its own data. Something inside Cade's DNA was rewriting the ship's code. He walked to a chamber marked Alpha Containment. Behind the glass was a long, silver device, half organic, half metal. He didn't know how he knew its name, but he said it aloud, Vanta Blade. The glass shattered as he spoke. The weapon floated into his hand like it had waited for him across time. The moment Cade held the blade, the ship responded violently. Every light turned black, not dark black, like they were being swallowed. The metal walls groaned, and the gravity pulsed in slow waves. The ship screamed not with alarms, but with living sound like it was in pain. Then the captain's voice came over the intercom. "This is Captain Zelter. Surrender the weapon. You have no idea what it is." Cade looked at the black blade in his hand. "You're wrong," he said. "It knows me, and now I remember it."
Ow.
In Cade's mind, flashes returned, a war on Mars, where sky ships tore the red clouds open. Men like him walking into fire. Blades like the one he now held. Ancient humans who could command machines with thought. And a final voice, cold and clear, "Hide the defender among them. He will not know. Not until they come again." Cade blinked. He wasn't the first, but he might be the last. 12 armored soldiers entered the DNA vault, weapons drawn. Their armor shimmered with light shields. They had mind blockers, neural disruptors, and grav-pulse cannons. "Freeze," the leader barked. Cade turned. "No," he said, and everything went black. The soldiers fired, bolts of energy slammed into. The walls ricocheted, exploded. But none touched Cade. He moved through the dark like a ghost, no sound. No trail. One by one, the soldiers fell. Their tech stopped working. Their limbs gave out. Their thoughts turned to static in Cade. He never raised the blade. He didn't have to. The ship itself was on his side. Now the alien ship's AI flickered to life one last time. Its voice was weak. "Request. Instruction. Subject 41. H." Cade looked into the nearest camera. "Open." The doors confirmed. Every door in the ship opened. Cade walked through them all. Back on Earth, far underground, a machine blinked. An old scientist, gray-haired, eyes filled with fear. The message on his screen, "The defender has awakened. Alien contact confirmed." He turned to his team. "Get me the president now." Cade walked alone through the alien halls. The ship no longer fought him. It listened, obeyed, reacted to his presence like it was afraid. Lights dimmed when he passed. Doors opened before he reached them. Drones scattered like insects. He didn't need to run. He didn't need to fight. The war had already begun the moment they took him. But it wouldn't end out here. It would end on Earth. The Vanta blade, still pulsing with silent energy, hung across his back. He didn't know where it came from, only that it recognized him. It had no buttons, no power cell, no wires. But it hummed to his heartbeat, alive in a way that steel should never be. He reached the outer launch bay. The stars stretched endlessly. Beyond the glass, cold and silent. Below them, Earth rotated slowly, distant, blue, unaware. His home. He had to go back, not for revenge. For warning, behind him footsteps echoed. It was Captain Zeltaire, unarmed, his face pale, tense. "You'll destroy everything," he said, voice tight. "We didn't know." "We didn't mean." Cade turned calm. "You never mean to start a war," he said. "But you always think you'll survive it." Xa Elter took a step closer. "Let us fix this. We'll erase your memory. You'll forget all of this. You'll go home. You'll live a full life. I already had a life. You stole it the moment you took me off that street. You thought I was one of billions. But you woke up something your kind buried long ago." Zeltor looked desperate now. "You're not the only one. We've taken others. Many didn't survive. One almost broke a moon." Cade's eyes narrowed. "They weren't weapons like you," Zelta added quietly. 8. They were unstable, incomplete. "That's because they weren't the real key," Cade said. "They were looking for me." Without another word, Cade stepped into the launch chamber. A small pod sat ready, prepared for emergency evacuation. The controls were locked until he touched them. Then they came alive with blue symbols, now written in perfect English. The ship was adapting to him, or submitting. He sat inside the pod. The walls closed around him, the seat adjusted. The system recognized his DNA. Launch countdown began. Destination confirmed. The AI voice whispered, "Earth." As the countdown reached 0, Cade looked back once more at the alien standing helpless in the hangar. "You should have left us alone." The pod fired through the black vacuum of space. It rocketed silently toward the blue planet below. Cade stared out the window. Something stirred inside his chest, not rage, not fear. Something deeper, a memory, not his own, a battlefield. Skies filled with smoke, alien ships burning as they fell, humans standing tall among ruins, glowing weapons in hand. He saw himself among them. Or maybe not himself, someone like him, a defender. One chosen by Earth's last leaders. Back when humanity had spacefaring power. Back before their fall. Back when they still knew what kind of enemies were out there. Back when they made a plan for the day they'd return. That plan was him. The pod entered Earth's atmosphere, fire burning along the edges as gravity pulled him back home. Systems shielded the small craft. No radar could see it. No satellites would detect it. He wasn't supposed to be seen. Not yet. The pod splashed down into the ocean with a violent hiss and sank deep into the cold darkness. Then it slowed, released pressure, and opened. Cade swam upward, breaking through the water, gasping air not because he needed to breathe, but because the world finally felt real again. He drifted in silence, eyes up toward the sky, stars barely visible behind cloud cover. Then he swam to shore, stepping onto land for the first time since his abduction. Something felt different. He was heavier now, not in body, but in purpose. Earth didn't feel like home anymore. It felt like a battlefield waiting to happen. Miles away, deep underground, a hidden military base detected a strange splash off the coast. No debris, no wreckage, no sound of impact, but something had entered Earth's airspace without permission. An alert was sent to an old man sitting alone in a dimly lit control room. He looked at the signal, then back to a sealed door behind him. "Protocol Defender. Level 0, he whispered. He hadn't said those words in 40 years. He entered a code, unlocking a corridor not used since the cold era of Earth's Secret War Division. Lights flickered to life. Inside were images, old files, photos of people that never aged. The Defenders, humanity's last weapon. Only one remained unmarked file. For 1H, unknown status. Now updated. Status. Awakened. Cade moved through the trees along the coast. He didn't feel tired. His senses were sharp. He could hear distant waves, the hum of electronics buried under the soil, the movement of drones flying miles above. Someone was watching him. It's already he let them come. He needed them to see. Back on the alien ship, floating far above Earth? The crew didn't speak. They watched the quiet blue dot below and wondered what they had done. Some wanted to leave. Others wanted to destroy the planet before the Defender could spread, but the captain said nothing. He knew better. It was too late. One of them had awakened. That meant others could follow. The captain turned off the screens and spoke only once. Erase all records of this mission. Bury everything. No one must know. But someone already did. A second signal had left the alien ship while Kate escaped. Not from the crew, but from a small AI that had been listening, learning, adapting. It sent a message across the stars. Simple, clear, cold. Earth's defender active. Return immediately. Somewhere light years away, something opened its eyes for the first time in centuries and smiled. Cade walked through the forest quietly. His clothes were still soaked from the ocean, but he didn't feel cold. The air was calm, still, but his mind wasn't. His feet moved without thought. He didn't know exactly where he was heading, but something inside him did. A voice.
Apple.
Like a compass buried in his blood. The Defender wasn't just a weapon, it was a signal. And now that he was back on Earth, someone was calling him. Behind him, the trees shifted. Branches broke. A small sound of footstep. Cade stopped. He didn't look back. I know you're there. Silence. Then a woman stepped out of the trees. She wore black military armor with no flag, no insignia, no rank. Just matte black plates and a thin headset over her right ear. Her voice was flat, cold, trained. Subject for 1H. You're trespassing on restricted land. Hands above your head. Cade turned slowly. You know who I am. She didn't flinch. We've always known. Then you know how dangerous it is to point that weapon at me. She lowered her rifle, but only slightly. Protocol says recover, contain, or terminate. That's all I was told. Cade took a step forward. In what do you believe? She hesitated. Then she said, I believe Earth is about to be invaded, and we're not ready. Cade nodded once. Then you'd better come with me. They walked in silence for miles. She didn't ask where they were going. Somehow she knew he knew, and that was enough. As the trees thinned, a metal wall appeared, ahead an underground bunker, long abandoned, or so it seemed. Cade walked up to the door. No keypad, no scanner. He placed his palm on the rusted metal. Nothing happened, then without. Warning, the entire wall shook. Metal slid back. Old lights blinked awake. The door opened. The woman blinked. This place was buried. Off-grid. How did you? Cade didn't answer, just walked in. The halls inside were dark, but the lights flickered on, one by one as he passed. Screens powered up. Old servers came to life. They were responding to him. It's just like the alien ship. This place had been built. For him, or something like him. The deeper they went, the colder it got. Not physically just something in the air, like ghosts were watching. They reached a central chamber. Giant screens lit up. Maps, satellites, star charts. Then a file opened automatically. A single word filled the screen. Return. The woman stared. Is that a message? Cade nodded slowly. It's a warning. From who? He looked at her. His eyes were darker now. Older. Like he remembered 1,000 years that didn't belong to him. Not who, he said. What? She stared at the screen. The signal was old. Not human. The language was foreign, but the message was clear. Something was moving toward Earth, and fast. Then the screen flickered again. More files unlocked. She stepped forward. Her voice dropped. These are classified Defense Council documents. This is above alpha level. Cade moved closer. No, this is before the Defense Council. These are relics. Buried blueprints. Triggers left by the old world. He touched a panel. It showed images of others like him. Not many, just 5. Each one. Marked Defender class. It's all gone, except him. She asked the question he'd been trying to avoid. How did you survive? Cade looked down. I think I was hidden, buried in the system, sent to live like a normal human, unaware. Waiting for what? For them to come back. The woman's face hardened. And now that they have, I remember. Before. She could speak again. Oh. The base shook. Not an earthquake. A shockwave. Something had landed. An alert screamed across the bunker. Atmospheric breach. Object entry detected. Sector 12. She turned toward the screen. A large black craft hovered just beyond the tree line. No engines. No heat signature. Not alien, not human. Something in between. Cade stepped back. It followed me. Outside, the craft slowly unfolded. Metal bent and shaped itself like a living thing. Then the hatch opened, and a figure stepped out. It wore no armor, no weapon, but its body was long, twisted, and human dash-shaped. Almost its eyes glowed silver. It didn't walk. It floated. The bunker sensors went dead. The power flickered, then died inside. The lights failed. The screens went dark. Silence. Complete silence. The woman pulled her sidearm, breathing hard. Cade didn't move. He stared at the door. No, it's not tech. It's something worse. The door groaned, then burst open. But there was nothing there. Just a whisper, soft echoed. You are the first, it said. Cade stepped forward. I'm the last. No, the voice said. You are the beginning again. Then a blast of sound, not noise, but pressure ripped through the room. The woman was thrown back. Her ears bled. She couldn't scream. She couldn't move. Cade stood still. His body glowed just faintly, then brighter. The thing stepped into the light. It wasn't alien. Not fully. It was him, or something like him. A copy. Failed defender. Its voice echoed again. You unlocked the signal. Now the others will come. Cade raised the Vanta blade. I won't let them. You don't have a choice. The thing said, you were built for this. Then it lunged. Cade met it midair. Steel met shadow. Light met darkness. The bunker shook as the two collided, neither fully human, neither fully machine. Sparks flew. Walls cracked. Screens shattered. The woman watched, barely able to move, as the two figures tore through the walls. Through time itself, through memory and code and everything in between, the battle didn't look like fighting. It looked like history unraveling, and it was only the beginning. The two figures slammed into the ground, shaking the walls of the hidden bunker. Dust fell from the ceiling. Steel bent like paper. The woman scrambled behind a broken console, barely able to keep her eyes open. Cade and the dark copy circled each other, both breathing, both bleeding, both human and not. The dark one, the echo, looked like him, moved like him, but there was something hollow behind its eyes, something broken, like a machine pretending to feel. You were stronger than expected, it said calmly, almost respectful. Cade didn't respond. He gripped the Vanta blade tighter, flickered in his hand, reading his fear, his focus, his rage. You feel it, don't you? The echo said, stepping slowly. The call. The signal in your veins. It's not yours. It was left there. Programmed. Planted. Cade's eyes narrowed. I don't care where it came from. Only care that you're here to hurt people. Echo paused. You misunderstand. I'm not here to destroy Earth. I'm here to wake it up. Before Cade could answer, the echo moved, fast, too fast. A blur of motion, then steel met blade. Sparks burst as Cade blocked a strike, but the force threw him across the room. He slammed into a pillar, leaving a crack in the stone. He didn't fall. He launched back. The fight became faster, louder energy clashing with will. Steel with shadow. The woman tried to crawl toward a broken panel on the wall, trying to reconnect power. They needed light, heat, anything. The base was dying around them, above ground. The dark craft hovered, releasing strange pulses into the forest. Trees wilted, birds fled. The air shimmered. Something else was coming, more than one. Back in the bunker. Cade ducked under a strike, rolled, then swung the Vanta blade upward. It sliced through the echo's shoulder, Black sparks flew. The echo screamed not in pain but in memory. As if it wasn't wounded, it was reminded. It stepped back, grinning. "You're beginning to understand?" it whispered. "You were never built to win. You were built to unlock the rest of us." Cade's voice dropped. "There are more." Echo's smile faded. "Thousands." The bunker's remaining lights flickered, and then something unexpected happened. A second signal pulsed from Cade's chest. Bright, silent, alive. The echo stepped back. "That's not possible," it said, for the first time sounding unsure. "What?" Cade asked. The echo stared at the glowing light from Cade's body right beneath his heart. "That signal isn't from us," it whispered. "It's older." Woman finally reconnected a circuit. Lights burst back to life, and on every screen one word flashed. "Key detected." The echo hissed and leaped forward, slamming its hand into Cade's chest. Everything stopped. In that second, Cade saw something. A memory, not his own. A ruined Earth. Cities in ash. Sky torn open. Ships like gods in the clouds. Human defenders, few and fierce, standing on walls. Made of light, he saw children hidden in deep bunkers. Defenders bleeding out on alien soil. A single final order. From a voice like thunder, scatter the sparks. Let one survive. And then darkness. The echo was thrown across the chamber by a sudden blast of light. Cade dropped to his knees, shaking. Breathing hard, the woman ran to his side. "You okay?" Cade looked up. "I'm not sure I was ever human," he said quietly. "But now I know. I was never just a weapon." The screens flickered again. This time maps appeared. Earth's surface, scanned and overlaid with strange red pulses. Each marked a buried signal. There were more. Like him, but not all of them were waking up friendly. The woman stared at the data. "These are defender sites." Cade nodded. Some were buried. Others were corrupted. But something's triggering them now. That thing he motioned to the echo, now dragging itself up, is just the start. The echo stood. Barely. "I warned you," it said weakly. "You open the gate. The others are coming. Some will stand beside you. Most will not." "Then I'll stop them," Cade said. "You can't," the echo said. "You're just the first flame. The fire is already lit." And then the echo collapsed. Dead or dormant? Cade didn't wait to find out. He turned to the woman. "We need to move. We need to find the others before they do." She hesitated. "There's something I need to show you first." They took a side corridor through the bunker, deeper underground, down flights of stairs, long rusted, down past sealed vaults that hadn't been opened in 80 years, until they reached a door marked Defender Core Classified Level, Omega. Woman scanned her hand. Nothing. She stepped aside. Cade placed his hand on the scanner. The door opened instantly. Inside the room was a single capsule, empty next to it, a wall of screens. Old data logs. And a plaque that read, "Defender for 1H, codename Cade." He stared. It was true. He hadn't just been chosen, he had been created. "You were part of Project Ember," she said quietly. "They designed you in case Earth ever fell. A way to reboot our defenders. But something went wrong. The project was buried. Files deleted. But you were the only one launched off-world before the collapse." Cade couldn't speak. "I wasn't human," he whispered. "Not really. But you are now," she said. "You made choices. That makes you more human than most." He turned, the Vanta blade buzzed on his back. Outside, alarms blared, another pulse had landed. But this one wasn't from space. It was from below, deep. It's underground, right under a major city. One of the corrupted defenders had woken up. Cade looked. At her. "I have to stop him. You won't be alone." They ran, not away from danger, toward it. The subway tunnel was silent. Too silent. No trains, no wind. Just dust, floating through stale air and old lights flickering across the walls. Cade and the woman moved quietly along the tracks. She held a weapon. He didn't need one. The Vanta blade stayed on his back, humming softly like it could feel what was coming. Ahead, just past the final bend in the tunnel, the air shimmered. Something was there, something alive and angry. "This defender," the woman whispered. "You think it's corrupted?" Cade nodded. "I can feel it. It's like a twisted echo of what I am." They slowed. The tunnel opened into an old maintenance station, forgotten by the city above. Rusted lockers, busted consoles, and a giant steel door marked authorized personnel only. But the door was already open, torn from its hinges inside. Glowing lines crawled along the wall's tech, fused with roots like metal vines growing across concrete. Lights pulsed red. The woman raised her rifle. "Whatever it is, it's awake." They stepped inside. At the center of the room stood a man. Tall, broad shoulders, eyes like ice. But something was off. His body flickered like a bad signal. Half of him looked human. The other half didn't. His right arm was made of shifting chrome, glitching as it moved. His face twitched every few seconds, his skin trying to hold together over a machine skeleton. He turned slowly toward them. "You're late," he said. Cade stepped forward. "Who are you?" The man smiled. "I'm what's left of Defender 09, the woman whispered. "He's one of the originals." Cade looked at him closely. "What happened to you?" The man's smile faded. "They promised us we'd wake up when Earth needed us, said we'd be protectors, heroes." He held up his arms. Sparks flew from it. "But I didn't wake up to protect anything. I woke up in a graveyard, cities in ruin, signals scrambled, half my code gone." Cade felt a chill run through him. "You went rogue?" "I adapted," the man growled. "They left us behind. I made myself whole. I rebuilt from alien tech. And I'm not the only one." He raised his hand, and the walls pulsed. Suddenly shapes moved. Figures stepped out from the shadows, not human, not defender. Something in between. Machines built from junk. Eyes glowing red. 10 of them, maybe more. The woman took a step back. Cade. He didn't move. He stared at the broken defender. "You're not the mission anymore," Cade said. "You're a threat." "I'm evolution," the man replied. "And when the others arrive, when the true fleet descends only, those who've adapted will survive." Cade didn't argue. He struck. The Vanta blade roared to life. Black steel. Lit with blue light, he moved like lightning cutting through the first machine in a single blow. Sparks flew. The others rushed forward. The woman opened fire, her rifle blasting heat rounds. One by one, the hybrids dropped. But more kept coming. Cade leaped, blade spinning, carving through metal like it was paper. But the corrupted defender was fast, too fast. He met Cade mid-strike, blocking with his metal arm. Their weapons clashed, sending a shockwave through the chamber. "You're strong," the broken defender hissed. "But you're still following." "Old code." "I made my own," Cade said through gritted teeth. They fought through the room-up walls, across ceilings. Blades sparking, fists crashing. Cade bled. So did the machine. The woman tossed a shock grenade. Boom. The light blinded the enemy. Cade used the chance slice down. The Vanta blade cut through the defender's side. Sparks flew. The man fell to one knee. But instead of fear, he laughed. "You think this ends with me?" He coughed. "You think you're winning?" Cade didn't speak. He stood over the man, blade humming. The defender's eyes dimmed. His last words were quiet. "They're already here." Then he collapsed. Dead, the machines around him froze. One by one they shut down. The room went silent. The woman lowered her weapon. But Cade looked up at the pulsing light still crawling along the walls. "It was a beacon," he said. "This wasn't an ambush." She looked at him, confused. "What? Then what was it?" "A warning." And then the ground shook. From far above, the city itself let out a deep, low hum. Every phone, every radio, every screen across the world flashed at once, and a message played. Not in a human voice, not in any language known, but every person who heard it understood. The door has opened. The woman's voice trembled. What door? Cade didn't answer, because he already knew. Not a door in space, not a door in time. A door inside him, somewhere far away across the sky, beyond the stars. Something ancient had turned to look at Earth, and now was coming. The final spark, the sky turned red. It wasn't fire. It wasn't smoke. It was something else. Something alive. Above Earth, the stars dimmed. Something huge blocked them. A ship, no a fleet. Thousands of dark, silent ships appeared in orbit, drifting like shadows. No lights, no sound, just presence. Back on the surface, Cade stood on the rooftop of an old tower in the city's ruins. The wind whipped around him. Buildings below flickered with emergency lights. Civilians panicked. Fighters scrambled. Global defenses activated, but none of it would be enough. He knew that. The woman Jenna stepped beside him, watching the sky, so she said quietly, "They finally came." Cade didn't speak. His eyes locked on the black arcs in the clouds. His hand rested on the Vanta blade. It pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. "Do you think Earth's ready?" she asked. Cade exhaled. "No. Do you think we'll survive?" Pause. "Yes." Jenna turned to him. "Why?" He looked at her, calm and unblinking. "Because they made one mistake," Cade said. "They gave us a reason to fight." Suddenly, a loud pulse ripped through the air. One of the alien ships broke from the clouds, descending fast. It hovered over the city, releasing drones spiked, insect-like things with glowing red eyes. They spread across the sky like a virus, and then the message played again. Across every speaker, every phone, every mind. The door is open. The last defender has woken. Inside the defender core deep underground, the old system sparked too. Life screens flickered. A final file unlocked. Jenna accessed it. Her eyes widened. "It's a command signal," she said. "A final directive?" Cade stepped beside her. It read, "Project Ember, Stage 2, Initiate Global Awakening." Jenna looked up. "There are more like you. Still hidden, still waiting." Cade nodded. He placed his hand on the console. A ring. A blue light burst from the tower and swept across the planet. From the oceans, the deserts, the poles, it began. Sleepers stirred. Across the globe, hidden pods cracked open. Some defenders blinked into the light, confused but alert. Others screamed. Not all were stable, but enough were strong, enough remembered. The true war had begun. Back above the city, the alien ship charged a blast. Power hummed in the air. As civilians screamed. People ran for cover. Cade didn't. He stepped forward. Alone, the enemy fired. A massive beam of red plasma shot down, aimed straight at the heart of the city. And Cade leaped. The Vanta blade activated, glowing hotter than ever before. Its light wrapped around him like armor. He flew into the air, through the beam, screaming, burning, breaking through, and then he struck. The blade pierced the ship's core. Explosion lit up the sky. The first alien vessel was gone. Jenna watched from the tower. "Alive," she whispered. He did it. But then, more ships began to descend. 10, 20, hundreds. One victory didn't mean the war was over. Jenna turned to the console. "Come on," she whispered. "Show me something." The screen blinked. A new signal. Dozens, then. Hundreds, all across Earth. Defenders were waking up. In Japan, a warrior stepped from volcanic rock, wrapped in molten armor. In the Sahara, a giant rose from the dunes, made of light and sand in the Arctic. A silent figure marched from beneath the ice, carrying a spear. Of sound, defenders of all forms, all types, all human at heart, in Cade. Cade floated above the burning city, barely conscious, falling from the sky after destroying the first ship. He was caught by another defender, woman made of storm clouds. "And electricity? You did enough," she said softly. He smiled faintly, tagged in. She launched into the sky. Lightning bursting from her fists, the battle exploded across the globe. Defenders versus the fleet. Humans and machines, united by a forgotten signal. Wakened by one spark, Cade lay on the rooftop, watching it all unfold. Jenna crouched beside him. "You okay?" he coughed. "Never better." She smiled. "You were their mistake," she said. "They shouldn't have touched you." He whispered, eyes burning with light. "They shouldn't have touched Earth." And then the last file unlocked. From deep space beyond the alien fleet, something bigger stirred. It had seen the spark, it had felt the resistance, and now it was coming. The true enemy, the one who built the fleet, the one behind the signal. Not a machine, not a god. Something else. But Earth was no longer alone. Not anymore. And Cade. He stood again. He faced the star's end. He smiled.